guys, how are you? My computer usually crashes under too much pressure, but I decided I'm gonna try it. Let's see. Hello, Garg. Mekartik Garg. Hi. Nice to meet you. I haven't seen your name before in the chat. Maybe you have been watching, but welcome. Guys, it's Monday Mastery and I'm teaching later kids, so I don't have unlimited time today, but we are gonna do a bit of chess, a bit of chatting, like usual stuff that is expectable from me. Your computer or you, lol. Well, my computer can't handle pressure and I'm alright. I wanna think I'm quite okay under pressure, but I like to just go with the flow. Ooh, I just heard Merkati Garg is now following. Hello. I have to think about my background, guys. I changed it up a bit because I wanted to. I'm still finding the right background for now, and I actually really like usually changing things like this up, but for now we have a bit of an under the sea theme with blue. But I realized that the alerts are also blue, so I might have to change that, but that's okay. We are learning. Ray says to exchange the queens, and Vasiamantiak says rook to d1. Interesting. Ray, doing great, and aquarium ocean underwater will always suit me well until you change for those damn electric sexy backgrounds. Electric sexy backgrounds? Ooh, I don't even know what they are really. I like to go back to nature even though we are on a computer or some device. Let's try and bring some nature in. So Ray, reflecting on what you mentioned, if we exchange the queen, that could be an option. Why am I was using my touchpad when I have my beautiful mouse finally? Don't ask me why. If we exchange the queen here, is there anything, any possibility for black to win right now? That's the question. It was a private joke, says Ray. No worries. Sometimes, guys, it's so funny because you guys are joking and I don't get it, so that's absolutely a possibility. Rook to d2. Right now, are you saying, Ray? Let's see. Rook to d2. And what if knight captures? It's not working right now. Turkish Polgar said rook to d1. e2. Dovgonosik said that he thinks that to push the pawn at the beginning. So let's see. So what we know, if we want to win this position, probably the queens will have to stay on the chessboard because queens are a pretty good tool to checkmate, right? You are saying push the pawn to e2. Now we could actually capture the queen. So that queen is hanging there. You could capture the queen, and then if you, let's say you were to check us, we just capture the pawn. There is not much to do here. If you are saying first capture the queen and then e2, that's not gonna work either, right? Because we can capture the pawn. Let me know, guys, if you are following this. Turkish Polgar mentioned as well. Bopotka, hello. And I'm just looking. Vasya Manziak. How should I call you, Vasya? I might call you Wasia. No worries. There is no right or wrong, like we are considering options. So those guys who mentioned rook to d1, absolutely. That seems like a very good idea, right? So now what can white do? White can either capture with the king. If the king captures, queen to f1, checkmate, right? Checkmating this beautiful king. Poor king cannot go anywhere. And Banana Chill just said if the queen captures instead, then a beautiful move, queen to f2. Checkmate. Look at this, guys. This poor king is trapped. Even though you have an extra rook, you just cornered your king. Right? Can everybody see that? I think it's fantastic. And here, I mean, if white king was to move to e2, then again, queen takes on f1, checkmate. White can't avoid the checkmate. Wow. What do we think, guys, about this? What a simple move, yet our brain would not think about this at first. And that's why chess is so beautiful, because we do learn to think outside of the box. Yeah, the rucksack. Absolutely. Very good, guys. Awesome. Okay, and the title was Deflate the Protection. So we see how the queen is protecting here from the checkmate. So we have to deflate it by rook to d1, because either the king or the queen will have to move. Perfect. Next one. This is still about deflating the protection. Now I feel like our Tuesday tactics just creeped into Monday mastery, but I think it's very, very cool to see these kind of patterns again. Pattern training. This time we are with the white pieces. Yeah. Again, the title is Deflate the Protection. Try to see how is this king is situated. What is kind of blocking the king? So we have a rook that is guarding on the e file, right? So where could be there a checkmate, and how could we deflate the protection? And take your time, guys. Bipotka says it was my first prediction. Very good, well done. Bipotka, it means that you have been doing a lot of similar kind of style of exercises, and your brain then starts to already associate to that solution. Banana Chill, so, well, if we know that it is a deflate the protection, the queen has to be deflated, because bishop to f6 would be checkmate. Wonderful way of thinking here, Banana Chill. Bishop to f6 is our dream situation, because that would checkmate the king. But right now the queen is protecting that square. So Banana says that we have to deflate this queen. Excellent way of thinking. Now again, when you do these exercises and the teacher or whoever the book says deflate protection, it's a help. But that's the way to think about it. Dovgonosik says without seeing puzzles, sack the queen. Bipotka, queen to g3, but I'm not sure. Turkish Bulgar says queen to g3 or queen to h3. Okay, queen to h3 says Turkish Bulgar. Alright guys, let's see. If we were to go to queen to h3, the difference between queen to h3 or queen to g3 is that queen to h3 leaves the f4 square free for the queen to move to, right? And we are still protecting the f6 square, and we are also still protecting the h4 square from the check on this diagonal, right? So the difference is that when actually we move the queen to g3, now it's interesting. Because the queen cannot move now to f4. And thank you so much for the follow, Yash. Hello, welcome. Just saw your name pop up. So in this case, this beautiful f4 square and the g5 square on that matter is all controlled by the queen. So if black was to take our queen, we are gonna go bishop to f6, checkmate. And if black doesn't take the queen, then they are gonna lose the queen, right? Beautiful. Oh, somebody just mentioned, wow, yes, right? I love these exercises because remember that these kind of patterns, they get wedged into our brains and we are going to remember going forward how to do this. Somebody mentioned queen to e3. If we go to queen to e3, I see you are thinking if the rook captures the bishop, then we can checkmate on e8. But the rook does not have to capture the bishop, I guess. Yeah, like we can just simply even open up here to avoid any back rank checkmate that could possibly come, right? So, and my queen is protecting on the e7 diagonal, on the diagonal to the e7 square. So while it's still much better situation for white, but queen to g3 actually immediately wins the game. Somebody said Bopotka or take the rook. But then d6. Ah, so you are saying if... Oh, that for c6, e6 is strong. That's true. It's true. And actually somebody just mentioned the rook was hanging, guys, as well, which is true. And you know that I don't like to capture rooks. I don't know why. I have this thing with rooks. If I can capture a pawn or a rook, I always go for the pawn. Don't ask me why. It's something in my brain, but absolutely true. I did not see that actually the rook was hanging in the meantime as well. Very, very true. Or even, you know, if you, let's say you don't see that, even e6 here could be an option. Just try starting to open up these and get the pieces out. Not there, but like get the pieces out somehow. But yeah, I mean, the rook is absolutely hanging here. And already you lost a piece, an important piece in the attack. Ray, try to open a road to the bishop and castle. So Ray, one important thing to acknowledge that this king has already moved from e8 to d8. So the king cannot castle if it already has moved. Castle in a way, okay, you just corrected that. I mean, you can, that was my idea with c6, is to try and eventually get across the king. I just heard some Lionel Spoon is now following. Hello, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Oh, somebody else. Roller coaster 1, 2, 3. Hello. We are gonna see these options. Banana Chill joined the rook to d8 group. Rook to d8, rook captures on c1, you mean? Queen to c1, king to g2, rook to d1, maybe. Guys, when you say rook captures on c8, you mean rook captures on c1, right? I'm sure that's what you meant. So let's have a look, first of all. What happens if rook goes to d8? Rook captures on c1, queen captures, and when the king can just go to g2. And then somebody mentioned rook to d1. But how about, I don't know, like I'm not too worried, like rook captures on b7, and if you go to check me, I can always go to h2 because the queen is protecting backwards. Let me just turn the music down for a second. Here we go, because we need our full focus on this one. So let me just put it back a little bit. So if rook goes to d8, then white captures on c1, queen captures back, king moves to g2, and somebody mentioned the possibility of rook goes to d1. I, with white, would just capture here. And if you go rook to g1, check, I can move my king to h2, and remember that my queen is protecting me backwards. And you are in danger on f7. If you are like, oh, all right, I'm gonna put the rook to h1, so then in the next move I checkmate you. Now, unfortunately, white is quicker, check, and checkmated you first. So black has no time to waste. There was another option, Vishal mentioned, queen to c2. The problem here, I believe, is kind of the same, like you capture, queen captures back, and the king is safe. And like, you can't really protect this b7 pawn. White has a better position now. But there is a move, guys, that immediately wins. Somebody mentioned queen to c6 now. Let's see. Interesting. Let's see our options. If rook captures on c1, instead of capturing the rook, we are absolutely gonna go for the queen. Right? Oh yeah. If white queen captures on c1, instead of being greedy and capturing back, first we are gonna capture the rook. Check. And when the king moves out, then thank you very much, and we captured back your queen, and suddenly we ended up a rook up. The podcast says this one is called Zukwansug. Actually, I did a stream before when I couldn't pronounce this, but all the German speakers, please help us. Isn't it wonderful, guys, though? How our brain... To be fair, my first choice would have not been queen c6 either. But believe me, by practicing these, this situation could easily arise on the chessboard and you will recognize them. Samu says, I'm just an amateur. Well, that's absolutely perfect, Samu. And actually, not everybody has to become a grandmaster. I'm not, absolutely not. But chess can give us so much. Honestly, I can promise you, looking back at my life after 14 years of competitive chess, there were some negative experiences through the whole process, but so much positive that I need to tell you all about it. Asking, are you a teacher? Yeah, I'm coaching very beginners, so I'm not teaching those who already have been at chess for a few years, but beginners. So rook to c1 clearly, and then when the rook captures d1 and we grab a queen instead. It says success, excellent. 5, 4, 3, 2,